Welcome to this simulated training game between AI Intermediate and AI Advanced. We have a Sicilian Najdorf on the board.
The Najdorf is the gold standard for fighting black. It's an opening that promises complexity, and usually the one who understands the pawn breaks better comes out on top. A standard start. Black is conceding the center for now, betting that the long-term counter-attack on the c-file will pay dividends.
White opens with the standard e4 and nf3, and black responds with the d6 and c5 structure.
Exactly, it prevents any annoying pieces from landing on b5. If you look at the heat map, white has a lot of red control right now, but it's a fragile dominance.
Black plays a6, the defining move of the Najdorf. White plays h3, a somewhat slow choice here.
White's playing like they're afraid of their own shadow. In a Najdorf, every tempo is a luxury, and this is a waste.
Black immediately strikes with e5, forcing the knight on d4 to move.
And there it is. Black just called the bluff and claimed the center in one fell swoop.
White pushes f4, attempting to open the king side.
Ambitious, perhaps overly so. It's an attempt to seize the initiative, but it leaves some very unattractive holes behind.
The pieces are developed, and white prepares to castle queenside.
We're heading for opposite side castling. That usually means a race to see who can crash through the other's king first.
Black pushes a5, gaining space on the queen side.
Black is starting the storm. The goal is to soften up the white king's shelter before white can do anything on the other side. A positional sacrifice. By doubling white's pawns on the b-file, black creates permanent targets. The heat map is turning purple here, the tension is peaking.
Black takes the knight on b3 with the bishop, a significant decision. Both sides have now castled, and the queens are becoming active.
The board is wide open. White has a space advantage, but black's structure is much healthier.
Black captures the pawn on b3 with the queen.
Black is cleaning up. White's queenside is starting to look like a ruin.
White tries to challenge the queen with qc4, but black simply steps back to b6.
White is trying to force a trade to relieve the pressure, but black is happy to keep the queen on the board for now. Black decides the endgame is safer. Look at the colors, the board has shifted to a clear blue dominance. Black is in total control of the tempo.
White pushes g4, but black responds by trading queens on b5. White plays h4, trying to create some counterplay on the king side.
It's a bit of a late rescue mission. Trying to create a passed pawn now is a desperate move.
Black takes the knight on c3, sacrificing the bishop.
Another structural blow. Black is systematically dismantling white's pawn islands. Black is prioritizing the king's safety and the overall structure over a single pawn. It's a very mature way to play.
White captures on h6, but black ignores it to play g6. White plays bc4, but black takes the pawn on h5.
The tension is high, and white is trying to find a way back into the game, but the options are dwindling. A trade of rooks usually favors the side with the better pawn structure. In this case, it's a gift for black.
White takes the rook on g8, and black recaptures. White manages to win a pawn on d6, but black takes the bishop on f7.
White is grabbing pawns, but black is grabbing pieces. It's a poor trade-off.
Black's knight leaps to f3, putting pressure on the white position.
That knight is a monster. It's controlling the center of the board and restricting the white king.
White pushes e5, trying to clear some space.
A desperate gasp. Black's king is already starting to march forward.
The black king reaches g4, becoming an active piece in the attack.
In the endgame, the king is an attacking piece. Black is using it perfectly here.
Black pushes the h-pawn to h4.
The h-pawn is the deciding factor. Once that pawn starts moving, the game is effectively over.
Black takes the pawn on e5 with the knight, another sacrifice.
Black doesn't care about the pawn, they only care about the promotion square.
Black pushes the pawn further to h3.
It's a slow-motion disaster for white. There's simply no way to stop this pawn without giving up everything.
The black king moves to f4 and then to g3.
The king is escorting the pawn. It's a textbook example of how to win a pawn endgame. A massive shift. The heat map is now almost entirely blue. White has been completely squeezed out of the game.
The h-pawn promotes to a queen on g1, and white is forced to capture it with the rook. Black plays b6, securing the queenside pawns.
Promoting to a rook instead of a queen, a little bit of flair to finish a dominant performance. Clinical.